Are you looking for the best tall tents? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best tall tents on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Eureka Copper Canyon LX 3-season camping tent. If you're intrigued by some of the taller tent heights but not enthusiastic about the oversized space and the extra cost, then check out the Eureka Copper Canyon LX 4P. Featuring an insanely tall 7, even the tallest camper will feel right at home. But now you don't need to worry about an enormous floor plan that you don't really need. Camp in a cozy upright home, not in a gigantic fabric warehouse. Overall, the Eureka Copper Canyon 4P is a lovely home away from home. It's received high praise for its breathability, even when it's hot and humid. This is especially noteworthy for synthetic tents, which can sometimes get stuffy. If storms kick up, you get an extended door awning created by the roof fly. This way, you won't get soaked when opening the door. Some campers mention being stuck in rainstorms lasting several hours without water. Yet still, others have complained of a leak or two. The fly isn't full coverage, after all. For this reason, you could be okay in bad weather camping. But we'd suggest it more for when the forecast cooperates. Number 2. Coleman Cabin Camping Tent. If you want a smaller, but taller, do-everything tent, seriously consider the Coleman Cabin Camping Tent with weatherproof screen room. The peak height is 6'4", but really, due to the unique shape, you won't feel much of a height decrease unless you're standing at the absolute front or back. You can stand up straight pretty much anywhere, a rarity for dome tents. Inside, you get a total of 13 × 10 living space. The main body of the tent measures 9 × 10. That's enough room to fit the advertised 2 queen beds edge to edge with some maneuvering room left over. The other 4 of length comes from the screen room. It's the ideal size for plopping down 2 or 3 camping chairs for bug-free lounging, or it's just big enough to sleep an extra camper if needed. Another awesome thing about the screen room is that it's, mostly, weatherproofed. The rainfly extends over the screen room, meaning you won't see any leaks. And there aren't any complaints about leaking in the reviews. And this is in spite of campers taking the Coleman cabin out during rainy days. Another awesome thing about this tent is its rave reviews on its ventilation, even on warm days with the rainfly on. Number 3. Alps Mountaineering Camp Creek 4-person tent. For smaller groups determined to camp even when the forecast turns sour, the Alps Mountaineering Camp Creek 4-person tent is your next tent. No, seriously, it really is all that. Users have raved about this thing's weather performance. This tent has kept out every raindrop, from all-night-long torrential downpours to weekend storms complete with sustained winds. Perhaps when considering the impressive weatherproofing specs, this makes sense. It has a hardy 75 deep polyester rainfly coated up to 1,500 mm. The floor is even tougher, similarly rated up to 1,500 and made with 150 deep polyester Oxford. Plus, add factory seam taping, and it's no wonder it stays so dry inside. For tall campers, you're in luck. The ceiling offers a massive 7. Another cool thing about the Alps Mountaineering tent is that it's smaller. With 7'6" by 8'6" in floor space, it's plenty of room for you and 1 or 2 friends to spread out. Even better, you aren't paying for that extra, and unwanted, square footage. And while we're on the subject of price, this is actually an incredibly reasonably priced tent. Number 4. Core 9-person Instant Cabin Tent. For those who want ample living space but won't tolerate a tedious setup process, look at the Core 9-person Instant Cabin Tent. Campers have only good things to say about the 1-minute pitch. The pre-attached poles make it a snap to pop the tent into place. Meanwhile, this convenience doesn't come at the cost of living space or height. With a generous 6'5" peak height, tall campers can rest assured that they can move comfortably throughout this cabin tent. And with a 14 × 9 floor, you'll still have more than enough room for 2 queen mattresses with plenty of leftover space. There's also a room divider for extra privacy. Easily transform this giant one-room mansion into a cozy 2-room space. In bad weather, the Core 9 doesn't back down. Many users have told stories of remaining dry in tents while strong storms blew through. Although other campers had to run for the shelter in their cars, those in the Core 9 remained dry through the night. One downside to note is the zipper construction. Like a few other tents on this list, there's a small gap where the zippers meet that's just large enough for determined bugs to get inside. Number 5. UNP 6-person cabin tent. For groups who want a basic, affordable, but cozy option, the UNP 6-person cabin tent could fit the bill. It's also an excellent choice for someone new to the camping world. This tent won't break the bank, nor is it so cheap and chintzy that it would make your first camping experience miserable. Offering a 6'5" peak height, you'll have plenty of room to move around. As it is a dome tent, that height will decrease slightly as you move away from the center. Regarding the bad weather performance, well, it's a little mixed. Campers are either extremely satisfied, reporting no leakage whatsoever, or they're rather soggy, citing leaky corners and wet mesh pockets. Honestly, this is most likely due to quality control, especially given the not very well-known UNP brand. Another funny thing about the UNP 6P is that it does have 2 doors. But they're both in the front. Since UNP placed both doors in front, instead of a door at each end of the tent, you could play a nerve-wracking game of hopscotch over your tent mates.